Hi, everybody. My name is Sara Elise. I'm an astrologer in Toronto, Canada. It's March 13th, 2025, and I'm making this video for my newsletter community on the day of our eclipse. We have a full moon complete eclipse, a full eclipse, happening within the next 24 hours. In Eastern Standard Time, it will happen at 2:54 a.m. on the 14th. So that's 11:54 a.m. PST on the 13th for those of us on the West Coast of North America. In any case, it's coming soon, and I just thought I would talk a little bit about this. I've been thinking about it for days, feeling this thing coming in. It's just really uncomfortable, actually. For me, it's been very uncomfortable. I don't think this is the kind of eclipse that we would see um, sort of feel positive, warm, cozy feelings. This is just not a positive, warm, cozy feeling kind of an eclipse. So let me take a look and let's piece it together. So we have the sun here at 23 degrees of Pisces opposing a moon at 23 degrees of Virgo. And because the moon and the sun are so close to the nodal axis, we have a full eclipse. If the farther away the sun and the moon are from the nodes, that's how we get partial eclipses or the eclipses where we have the ring of fire around the outside, right? There are different kinds of eclipses, but today's lunar eclipse is a full eclipse. And it's going to be visible, I believe, by some places in Europe and Africa and maybe the southern United States as well. So there's this window of time where this eclipse is going to be showing up. You might see the moon turn blood red. Depending on where you are, you might see the moon disappear. It's not quite as dramatic as a solar eclipse, obviously, because it's happening in the middle of the night. But being a lunar eclipse and being a south node eclipse, this is about internal. This is about the inside of us that needs to change. So let's talk a little bit about what a solar eclipse at the south node means, or sorry, a lunar eclipse at the south node means. The south node is the karmic past. It's like the disease that we're in the process of healing. Virgo South Node energy is about persecution, victimization, judgment, reprimand. It's about what is right and what is wrong. It's the energy of the Crusades, right? Where we go in and have a moral high ground. We believe that we are righteously um, that we can criticize, that we can pick apart, that we can make wrong. And generally speaking, the criticism is coming from a place inside of us that we feel is wrong. So within the Virgo shadow, there lies shame, there lies reprimand, self-judgment, self-criticism. There lies an inability to get things good enough, right? Like a latent perfectionism that is unfulfilled, right? So a feeling like it's never good enough. Something's always wrong. Something's always broken. I am always either to blame for that or I am being victimized by something on the outside of me that is hurting me and making me a victim. So there's so much crisis in Virgo, and I love the word crisis for Virgo. I copied that from a lecture I heard Mark Jones give years ago about the Pluto and Virgo generation, and he calls Virgo the key word that he uses is crisis, and I feel like that is just such a perfect word for us today. And I feel like whatever is going to come up at this eclipse is going to reveal, it's going to open up an invitation into some part of us that is in crisis, that is feeling like it is being harmed or that is harming. Victim, persecutor, it goes both ways, right? Either we are being persecuted or we are persecuting. It's the same energy on either side. So I feel like this South Node eclipse may bring up a state of anxiety or panic or something that's broken or wrong or a feeling of wrongness, and that we're going to have to sit in that. We're going to have to look at it. We're going to have to understand it and not react to it. Like the risk is, with this Mars and Cancer that we have right now, is to act defensively and emotionally to defend ourselves or to um, kind of lash out and blame something outside of ourselves for this problem or this crisis. And I know that, nothing is to blame, right? It's all happening inside of us. It's our reality. And the invitation, in this whole nodal cycle, so with the North Node of Pisces, is to somehow use the crisis, use the root ball of the crisis or the feeling of anxiety and panic or wrongness or whatever it is, to grow into something more, like to open up into something bigger and to allow a larger energy to proliferate and to come in. We're at the very end of Neptune in Pisces. It's been there since 2012 and it's about to move out. Neptune is at 29 degrees of Pisces today. It's the anaretic degree. It's sitting conjunct the North Node. It's sitting conjunct the Sun. There's a huge stellium of Pisces in the sky with Saturn on the Sun, almost exact degree. Like, this is really serious. Like, it's like we have the ability to grow beyond this crisis. We can see the wholeness, or we can dream a dream if we choose to. The question is, what dream do we want to dream? Are we going to dream a dream that is separative, that is dualistic, that is about us and them, or blame or harm? Or are we going to dream a dream that can transcend that and move into a larger understanding of wholeness and forgiveness and completion and compassion? I feel like this is the test of everything we've been through since 2012 in terms of our consciousness, right? This year is the end of Neptune in Pisces. Like, we have to really decide right now to live life as though it is divine and we are one and we can choose to see life from that position. We can choose to open up to that reality, that spiritual reality. We don't have to, right? We can stay in the bitterness. Virgo, very much about bitterness. We can stay in the separation. We can think that it's all about us, that it's our fault, or that we're not good enough, or that there's something wrong with us, or that we're suffering. All of this is an invitation. We can answer, we can go there, we can trust it, or we can say, no, I'm tired of playing the victim. I know that there's something more going on here. I know that reality is happening for me, not to me. So how do I reposition myself so that I can open up to that, so that I can trust that, so that I can have faith in that? What does that feel like? This is complicated stuff, right? It's complicated because this is the very first eclipse of a season of eclipses that are associated with this nodal opposition. This is the first one. So we are perhaps at this eclipse being introduced to our anxiety, introduced to our crisis, introduced to our victim. And perhaps over the next year, as the nodes progress through Virgo and Pisces, we will come into a deeper and deeper level of familiarity with that redemptive Piscean quality of wholeness and forgiveness, and that spiritualization can kind of come through for us gently over time. Safe to say, astrology is all about timing, as my teacher Deborah will say. And this is the mortal coil that we are playing out. This is the dream that we're dreaming. Yet in these moments of the eclipses, we have these opportunities to really, really change things and to see things and to rupture patterns and rupture structures in a way that is so significant, right? So I don't necessarily know that there's anything we have to do to make it more impactful. Just focus, focus, see, be aware, be conscious, be awake, and remember that there is something on the other side of whatever it is you're seeing. So try and pull yourself back and have that larger scope of saying, oh, this is the crisis that's arising for me. This is the opportunity for redemption. And the full moon is sextiling Uranus, almost exact degree. So there's a trine from Uranus to the moon, and there's a sextile from Uranus to the sun. And what that suggests is that there is this intuitive gift of liberation, right? And freedom that is available in this full moon. So there is this ability to see what is, to see it in its completion, and to break it. We don't have to feel like we need to identify with it. It doesn't need to bind us in a way. And because Neptune and Saturn are connecting to this full moon as well, we can take responsibility for the dream that we want to dream. We can hold it, we can structure it, we can discipline it. Today's full moon and this eclipse is very much about the right application of will and discipline so that you can lift up out of this myopia of anxiety and into something greater, even if you don't believe it yet. You fake it till you make it, right? And I recommend that anybody who needs to understand how to fake it till you make it, go watch some Joe Dispenza videos. He's absolutely brilliant about teaching us how to elevate beyond crisis, beyond fear, beyond the lower self, and into higher states of consciousness by initiating kind of what he calls, I don't know what he calls it. He calls it like higher emotions. Anyway, you can find him all over YouTube. I'm sure you can figure out how to work with that. But there are ways that we can work with our inner crisis, our inner Virgo, our inner self-flagellation, our fear, our harm. It's intense, it's sharp. The South Node in Virgo is like broken glass. It's like walking through broken glass or having swords in your back or being flayed. It's like it feels like you know what I mean? Like that energy of like having your skin peeled off. Like it's uncomfortable, so uncomfortable. But it begs for redemption, right? How can you suffer so much and not beg for redemption? This is very Christian. Not surprising, we've just come out of the age of Pisces, which is the age of Christianity. So we're using kind of allegory, which is in that religious structure because that's been the marker really of the last age. Um, and Virgo-Pisces is about crisis and redemption. That's kind of what its jam is. It's about how do we bring God into a body and how do we go from the body into God. And so in this nodal axis cycle, we're going from the body into God. We're going from the crisis, from this smallness, from this me, I'm a victim in this big reality that's out to get me and everything's wrong. And if only I could fix it, everything would be okay again, but I don't know how to fix it because I'm stuck here in this small self and I don't know and I'm alone and I'm doing it all by myself and I keep trying so hard. Please help me. Open. Energy. Redemption. You cannot redeem a lower form when you're engaging with it and having a conversation with it constantly. It just doesn't work, right? You have to open up and bring in more Pisces. You have to reunify with something greater and have faith. This is literally a crisis of faith. Literally a crisis of faith. Now, this is my language, but if we apply that at different levels of our awareness, we might say, can you look your crisis, look your victim, look your suffering, look your persecution in the face today? Can you do that? And can you identify and realize and imagine and choose to believe that there is something more than that that is possible for you? That is what this full moon is today. You have the power to break an old dream and replace it with a new one. And the impact of this eclipse will roll out for months and months and months. This is the start of our season, right? So please go easy on yourself, rest. It's a physically demanding eclipse. This hurts. I'm in pain. I'm very sensitive to this stuff, so you might not be. That's fine. And this is really triggering something very specific in my chart, okay? That's another thing to think about. If you have planets or points in the kind of mid to late mutables, right? From around 15 degrees till around 29 degree of mutable signs, this eclipse is going to impact you much more than if you have no mutable planets at all in your chart. So it's not the case that it will always impact everybody equally. Yeah, some people get it more than others. Now, what is impacting everyone is the collective field moving from persecution to forgiveness or unification or separation to unification, right? We're all being impacted by that story on a metacycle, but the unique way that each individual experiences the unfolding of this story depends on your chart, depends on your birth chart. So in any case, I'm going to leave it there and let you guys go. And thanks for your time and thanks for listening. Good luck with the eclipse. Bye.